Welcome to the English language tutorial for CrowdNewsroom. Let's get started. So when you log in with the email address and the password you've been given by CORRECTIV, one of the first things you want to do, because we'll be working in English, is just go to your settings and make sure that the language is set to English. The default will be in German. We'll do that, and then we can go back to our home page. On the home page, you'll basically see a list of all your investigations. You can have multiple surveys per an investigation, and you'll also see some basic summary information. So how many submissions have been made in total to your surveys, how many in the last 24 hours, and how many responses you have to verify. Now, when you go to your settings, you can change the name of your investigation, but you can't change the URL, so the URL will be whatever URL you signed up with. You can also have a description, and you can have a data privacy URL where you can link to your organization's data privacy policy, and you can also choose a logo. So this is the logo for CORRECTIV, and you can change a color as well. So I'll make that purple. So we'll click Save. You can also go to the users, and you can basically change who has access to the investigation. You can either be an admin, an editor, or a viewer. Admins have the most access, and so because I'm an admin, I can also change the status for other people. An editor can see stuff and verify information, but they can't change the actual details of the investigation, and a viewer can only see the information, they can't download it. You can also invite people by putting in their email address. So let's go back to our investigations. And if we click here on interviewers, we can see all our surveys, which are called interviewers. And basically, when you make a survey, you can go to add a new interviewer. We'll call this test 2. And something important to keep in mind is once you make your interviewer, you can't change the URL, even though you can change the name. So we'll continue. You can either choose a template that CORRECTIV used for Wenn gehört die Stadt. We're going to start with a blank template. And then, before we get started editing, again, we just want to go to Settings and make sure that we set our language to English. You can also change some other things, like where the user is redirected to after they finish the survey. So we'll click Save, and then we'll go back here. And to actually edit your interviewer, the best thing to do is go open in Interview Editor. You basically have a landing page with a name. You can add a description. Welcome to my survey. And you can also change what the button says. So we can say more questions. And then when you go here to our next slide, you can add all of these different fields. So there are a bunch of different fields. Some of them are fairly self-explanatory. So the one-line text, you can just go to this edit button here. You can change the name, so we'll call this one-line text. And we can just put a placeholder value. So this is a placeholder. And then when someone types in, the placeholder will go away. You can also ask people to put in their email address, some comments. You can choose sort of yes or no questions, and the answers don't have to be yes or no. They can be of course and never. You can do check boxes, which are multiple choice, so people can choose more than one thing. Choose multiple options. We also have a thing called radio buttons, which are like multiple choice, except you can only select one thing at a time. You can have a drop down as well with multiple options. So option number 4. You can also make things required fields, in which case there will be an asterisk next to it, so you can see that. And then, of course, you can also ask people to upload files. So, you know, please upload file. You can ask people to upload images. You can also ask for signatures, you know, to input a date. So this is sort of choose a calendar date. We'll make that required. And you can also ask people to share their location, which is good for verification purposes. And again, there are a bunch of different settings. So you can, you know, choose the name of the label. You can choose what the actual button says. You can choose what it says while it's loading, what notification people will get if there was like permission issues with retrieving their location. And then, of course, if you want to add a new slide, you can just do that, and then you have an additional slide. So I'm going to save and close it, and then it's pretty easy to go and actually try out your survey. You can click See Your Interviewer in Action. And so let's see. We want to go to More Questions. And then you can see the placeholder goes here. Good morning. Text goes away. You can choose 2 options here. You can only choose 1 over here. Drop down choice. If you upload a file, you can see people are given options to, you know, go through all of their documents. And then for the signature, you can just do that. And the calendar date as well just pops up a calendar, so you can choose a date. And then we'll click Save. And then you'll be given the chance to see everything once over, and you can click Submit. And that's as easy as taking this survey. Let's say you like it. Cool. Then we can go back to our example. We can go to test 2, and then we can see that the response is here. So it's pretty simple. And that's that. Thanks for watching.